All right, and let us go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Encounter Roleplay. My name is Will. I will be your Dungeon Master and host for today as we start a new adventure today. We are in the Samurai Sigil, which is episode 1. Pretty excited about it, and we have some wonderful players joining us today. So, let's start up the top left there with Tool School. How's it going, Tool School?
Hey, how you doing? Just hanging out down here in Florida. Ran in from work and looking forward to play. Got a new hat this weekend. I thought I was looking pretty cool. My friend told me it made me look like Perry Platypus, and that made me think it was even cooler.
There you go, nailing it. Tool School, who are you going to be playing today, sir?
I am bringing back Gavin. For anyone who's watched The Hanging Tree, I will be back playing Gavin. He does still have his crazy necrotic hand that came from a viewer decision. So he is a paladin of St. Cuthbert, and then also a death cleric for the Raven Queen. So he's got a little bit of figuring that all out in his world as well.
Excellent. Awesome stuff. And below us we have Josh from Encounter Roleplay. How's it going, Josh?
Hey, not bad. It's been a busy day, mostly of D&D, and I'm back for more D&D. I'm super psyched. So yeah, looking forward to playing pretty much ever since I first heard Will do a Seto Yashawan voice. It was like, just give me a little, go on. just
My name is Seto Yashawan.
Love it. So yeah, ever since I heard that, I was like, Will, we just do this, and I know he loves it, so I'm looking forward to. There's nothing greater than playing in a world that someone has built because they want to do it, and it's awesome. Super looking forward to it.
Yes, yeah, awesome. And thank you to Zephyrius for following. Welcome to the adventure, my friend. You're a gentleman and a scholar. So, Josh, tell us, who are you going to be playing today?
Okay, cool. No, sorry, I was just reaching for the unmute button. So I am going to be playing Shin Asal, who is I've never played this before. I'm playing a monk of the Long Death, which is the first time for me. He's a wood elf, and he's had some bad stuff happen to him, mostly because he's a Ronin, but we'll get to that later on because if you guys don't know about Samurai, then Will's going to drop some stuff on you, and we'll find out about Shin as we go on. So.
Yes, indeed. I'm excited for that. And finally, we have the Eeyore of Encounter Roleplay, Mike, joining us tonight. How's it going, Mike?
How's it going, guys? Yeah, I'm extra sad today. I'm extra Eeyore about the donger.
Oh, man.
Like, only I can see my own donger, and I want to see everyone's donger.
I know, that's the thing. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
It's
not fair.
Cruel.
Like
No.
To make up for it today, I'm going to be playing an assassin in a samurai game, because why not have any samurais in a samurai game as players?
Yeah.
So yeah, today I will be playing Ryuk Mazuki.
Ooh.
He is a assassin from the Mizuko clan of wherever the hell this setting is. Yeah, I'm playing a tiefling assassin who has made a pact with a Shinigami to become an even better assassin. And do more killing and murder. So, yeah.
Excellent stuff. Okay. Let me just bring in... We have a roll window here in a second. So, this is episode 1, so we haven't met these characters before at all, and we haven't really explored this world. It is a homebrew creation of mine. Not really fully fleshed out, but enough so for the places that we're going to be in during the course of our campaign today. And you never know, I might start doing more writing on it when I get a moment, but today was mostly spent doing freeing the donger, attempting to at the very least. So we have indeed hit 21 retweets. We'll get to that in a second. So let's talk about stuff before we dive into the show properly, before I do my beginning explanations and descriptions of characters and stuff like that. So if you're new to the show, do hit the follow button and join us. We're here 5 nights a week, 10 shows a week at Encounter Roleplay, playing D&D games like this, and all sorts of shenanigans go down. But they rip the donger. We're going to bring it back. It's a sad, long story, but we'll get there. If you haven't retweeted, there's a tweet here for you to retweet. When it hits 20 retweets, which is already done, then we have a viewer decision. So we're going to have another one at 30. And you guys get to decide something which happens in our game. So you get to throw out some ideas into the chat, something which could happen to the party. It could be an encounter, it could be a monster, it could be a magical item or treasure. And the most popular decision in a straw poll will actually happen. You can also support the channel via donations. You can give players nat 1s, nat 20s, wild magic surges. In fact, that's how Gavin got his hand, is all necrotic last time. So Gavin was previously seen in a one-shot hanging tree episode. So you could do some catching up there on the YouTubes if you would like to. You can also subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to the Donga. They can't keep us down, guys. Even though the Donga has been ripped for now, I'm going to make 2 more Donga-based emotes when we get to that magical 100 sub number, and goddamn, I'm getting that passed or I am leaving Twitch forever. So, though that is my ultimatum to Twitch. Maybe not a good idea to do that, but who knows. So you can subscribe $5 a month and do that. We also have a Patreon if you wish to back there. You get a bunch of cool rewards when you do that as well. We're in the process of actually revamping the Patreon to get a bunch of cool new rewards out for you guys all the time. So other than that, I think it's a good time to dive into the campaign and mute Josh first of all because he's moving around, and meet our players and the campaign proper. So if you guys watched the Hanging Tree episode before, Torsk was actually part of it, then you would know that we based that campaign in the Low Candle Marsh, which was based in a Far Eastern setting, essentially. And the Low Candle Marsh was the kind of home hub for the shenanigans today, and in fact, it's actually going to be where we're picking up the campaign today. So, some backstory on episode 1. There is an Imperial army of Albion led by a man named Emperor Richard, who are an ever-expanding force along the southern expanse. But his empire spans nations. The land of Albion is richer than ever before, but the growing demands of its home populace mean that Emperor Richard has to push further into the Old Lands. And the Old Lands are a kind of vast expanse, what we would consider very kind of Far Eastern lands, in which the Low Candle Marsh exists, along with a whole expanse of mountains which range out across rivers, huge expanses of rivers. The main river is the Shimmerai River, which runs across the north. So the players today are actually beginning as members of the Imperial Army of Albion, and it's not such a terrible thing as it might seem like being part of an imperialist force. They're hiring adventurers of all sorts for all types of jobs, be that working as just a soldier, or working as a diplomat or negotiator, or a quartermaster, or armorer, or repairer. So you could have found employ in the Imperial Army of Albion in a great deal of places. It's not necessarily all about conquest, murder, and death, and the like. So there's multiple ways to be. You can decide that you've been taken on. So you've been sent over. Essentially, you're coming up close to Low Candle. You've been traveling for some time, and the Imperial Army has basically been rolling over every town and settlement. At this point, there hasn't been actually any fighting. All of the towns and villages just give up. They kind of, fly up a white flag, and Emperor Richard and his forces just take it. They don't kill anyone, they don't harm anyone, but they do put heavy taxes upon the population, and the population is subject to conscription laws under Albion law, which means many of their men folk will be taken away, many will die in battle, and it really just disrupts their culture and their life, but no one's physically hurt. A few things that you know about Low Candle itself is was once ruled by the Geshin family. There's a man named Akabe Geshin who was recently killed and usurped by his daughter Assa at the events of the Hanging Tree. And as far as you guys are aware, she isn't going down without a fight. She owns Low Candle, what is now a thriving city in the center of the Low Candle marshes. So she's not going to go down with a fight. She's got some spirit on her. And so Emperor Richard, instead of going in immediately and just burning down the place, because he is, for all intents and purposes, a fairly peaceful man, ordered your superior, who is a man named Sergeant Matsu, who's in fact a local to the Low Candle Marshes, but they recruit from everywhere, the Albion army, to send men in to negotiate with her. As respected adventurers, soldiers, and those with knowledge of the area, in particular Gavin, you of course know about Assa personally. You're being sent in as first contact with Low Candle. And also thanks so much to Griffin for the £5 donation towards Sydney's microphone. And so much to Annie Dell as well. A step to a new mic for Sydney. Also Gavin's necrotic hand does things on its own and gives him some of that sweet wild magic. Alright then, so Toolschool, make a note, you've got to get a wild magic surge going here in a second. So that is the basic premise for our adventure today. You guys are going in to speak with Assa in Low Candle Marsh. You may or may not be familiar with the area. If you are a kind of local to Low Candle, you can decide upon that yourselves. If you have knowledge of her, you do know that Sergeant Matsu is the man with all the information, really, on the scenario. So let's get some visual descriptions of your characters going here. So as the scene kind of pans in, we're in a war camp, and the war camp is that of an army of around 20,000 men, all of which are your standard European medieval knights, and levies as well. So the knights are the kind of high noble order, whereas the levies are just kind of like the peasants and people that you kind of pick up along the way who are less well armed and armored. And so the camp itself filled with tents and men waking up. It's dawn at this point, and you guys know that you've got a meeting with Sergeant Matsu this morning, be it whether your job is a blacksmith here, potentially Gavin's, or whether or not you're like an assassin or just a soldier in the employ of Albion, or even just a expert on the area. That could be what you're hired for as well. And the camp is filled with the smells of kind of soups which are being boiled here in the morning to wake everyone up, and there are fires kind of crackling low, still going since last night. So that is the kind of opening scene. So we're going to get up with each of you just kind of waking up. I don't want to hear what you look like and what your morning routine is in the camp before you head off to go and see Sergeant Matsu. So let's start with Gavin here.
Well, Gavin is physical description, actually a picture on my character sheet if you want to pull it up, Will.
Oh,
but
yes.
big, tall guy, like 6'7", probably weighs about 270 pounds. He's been a blacksmith for all of his life. He comes from an area that had big, huge draft horses. So he is really big, muscular guy. Red hair, red beard, big smile. He is a paladin of Saint Cuthbert. So he's all about use your head, boy, and keeping people, to the tenets of common sense. Like I said, he's back in this area where he sort of got saddled with this necrotic hand that he's coming to terms with, but he feels he's got a nice balance between two of the big neutral gods of the pantheon, and it thinks he can keep it handled. As far as his morning routine goes, one of his things he does as a hobby is he cooks, and since he does have quite an appetite, he makes lots of pots and pans. That's kind of one of the things that he does to calm his nerves. And his pride and joy is his giant cast iron skillet. It's like 24 inches across. He's named it Agatha, and he cooks his eggs, like a dozen and a half of them every morning in Agatha. He also is known to use it as a shield when he's in battle. He's strong enough that he just sort of picks it up and uses it as a shield along with his trusty warhammer. So he sort of integrates his craftsman life into his warrior life, using hammer and skillet shield as he goes into battle. And so any given morning, you'll find him pretty much around the campfire, up early, cooking.
Awesome. And thanks so much to Von Start. He donates £5 and says, Sydney needs to be heard. Thanks so much, my man. I appreciate that. Awesome. That is Mr. Gavin, as he awakens this morning, starts cooking up a broth, no doubt, and heads off to Sergeant Matsu's camp. So let's hear from Shin next.
Yeah, so Shin has been traveling for a very long time. Shin is a Ronin, as I previously stated. He used to be a samurai, and unfortunately sort of fell from grace when he disobeyed a superior's order to enter a camp full of civilians and cut them down. Supposedly these were orders coming from the shogun himself, and he refused, so was essentially disgraced. Should have been put to death. However, in everything that was going on, there was a bit of an uprising, and his commanding officer was killed, and he fled, and has ever since lived in shame. He found a small monastery, devoted himself to the way of the long death. Usually a lot of like how I've seen them played in the past is they're really fixated on the moment of death, but for Shin it's not about that. For Shin it's about an honorable death. That's what this is all about, and that is what Shin actually means, truth or true, and Istar means honor. So it was what he was named for. It was what he was always destined to be. And if he can find his way back to his honor, that would be what he's looking for. As a monk, the reason I've chosen a monk is because he's forbidden himself to ever don a samurai's armor until he's regained his honor. So he's always wearing silverish grey robes that are basically threadbare by this point. He has a simple black doda he ties them off with, and he carries now I'm going to butcher this, and I know will probably rip into me for it, a wakizashi.
Yeah, I think that's about right, yeah.
Wakizashi, which is basically a samurai would carry two swords, the proper katana, and then a smaller one, which was more for the indoor close fighting. He's forsaken to pick up a samurai sword itself, but he still carries his short sword, essentially.
Awesome.
He will, for a morning routine, he basically will just get up, he'll eat, he'll drink with the men, but he doesn't communicate. He's very easy to he fades into the background, which is a little odd because he's an albino. Short white hair, red eyes, and quite slim built.
Awesome, interesting. So, you spend a quiet morning and then head off to Sergeant Matsu's tent. So, Mike, what about, I think I misspoke your name, so Ryoko?
It's Ryuk. No, you spelled it right.
Oh, okay, I just spelled it right.
There's no O in there.
Cool.
So Ryuk Mizuko he is from the assassin clan of the Mizukos, and they are basically assassins for hire. They are believed to have supernatural and paranormal powers from like demons and devils and whatnot, and that's because they totally do. Like a rite of passage in the clan is to make a pact with a Shinigami, a god of death, to go out and succeed and do murder better than you normally would. So he has been hired on in this camp to do just that. Any of the harder targets, the single-person targets, the commanders of enemy armies. That's what his whole purpose in this army is.
Nice.
Until someone pays him more to kill someone else. But yeah, he rises. He does his morning prayers, and by prayers, it's basically not quite a sacrifice, but he does his morning summons to his Shinigami. He has his talismans around his little tent area, but he basically wears as any good assassin would, all blacks, be it leather or cloth, from his head down to his tail. The only thing that's not really covered is his horns. He's got a big mask on his mouth that has like this weird mouth, like a demonic mouth etched into it, to further freak people out because he wants to be considered as a demon. And yeah, he eats in his tent alone and prays to weird demon devils.
That makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. So after your prayers are ended, you you head off to Sergeant Matsu's tent, and Gavin is there along with Shin. In an army this size, it's very unlikely you guys know each other particularly well, other than just by a glance. Maybe you recognize them vaguely, unless you really strongly feel like you might know someone. And Sergeant Matsu is this really big guy. He is his armor is kind of like bulging at the seams. It looks like it could break at any moment, really. And he is got a big beard as well. It looks like he's seen some wars. He's probably around 40 years old, and he's currently not armed, but you see a sword lying on the table, one of the kind of Albion standard issue longswords, and he's just waiting in his tent for you, sitting down at a desk, and there's some soup on the table. So we'll say that, I guess, Gavin walks in first. So we start with him first. So Gavin, you see Sergeant Matsu within. So what's the plan here?
Sergeant, I heard you summoned me. Does this have to do with Low Candle? I was wondering if we were going to be dealing with Assa.
Yes. Yes. Come in. Yes. Let's have a little adventure planned. Well, venture. Which you know of Assa, right? You've spoken with her.
Yes, we've actually had quite an adventure together. She's a formidable woman for sure.
He nods and says, "We're going to need all of your knowledge on this girl to crack this." And it's at this time that we're going to say, just as Shin walks in, that Gavin's hand starts playing up. And Gavin, could you roll that D10,000 for us?
Here we go.
708. Alright, you can find a D10K table down below. 708 is quite low. Gavin's hand craves moss. Caster craves moss, and seeing as in your hand, you're just kind of craving moss right now. A strange urge. It's like it could really...
Swampy area. There's probably some moss hanging from the trees. Maybe
plenty of moss around. Yeah, indeed.
It was the voodoo doctor here who stuck it on me. So
it's true. Yeah, that makes sense. So
it's homesick.
Yeah. And Shin, you step in here. Shin, Commander Matsu says, "Come in." You might be muted, Josh. Josh, this is you.
Right, sorry, that kind of everything got... he walks in quietly, hands folded before him, and he doesn't say anything. He just nods, gives a slight bow, and nods to his fellow soldiers, I guess, and stands to one side.
He's about to do introductions. And we have Ryok. And Ryok, you just kind of step inside at this point, and Sergeant Matsu says, "Gavin and Shin, this is Ryok. Ryok, Gavin, Shin."
I'm Pure-Hammer. Nice to meet you.
Shin gives a slight bow.
He said, I am sorry.
Glad to be here.
And he says, "Now that introductions are over, some information on Assa, the woman that you're going to be dealing with today. Now, Assa is from the Geshin family, but she has forsaken all that they respected, which was power, ruthlessness, and rule with an iron fist. Her deceased brother, Niwa, he was a war hero after he butchered thousands of innocents on his father, Akabe's request. Now there are many marsh folk who had retreated from Low Candle, and they returned when Assa came to power. She has strong connections with a family known as the Haruku family, an ancient family who live by samurai tradition in the north, in the mountains of the Shimarai River. The Harukus command an army of several thousand samurai who live in peace and are even well respected by many of us. Now, Assa wishes to retain command of Low Candle, and Emperor Richard will allow this. Of course, they will be subject to Albion law, which means tax, and conscription laws, which are very fair. The Albions, as they enter, will most likely change the way of life of the Low Candle people, but that is the price they must pay. We need to expand, and the trade here in Low Candle is excellent. They produce materials unlike any other place. So, you are to go and speak with Assa and to convince her not to put up a fight. Currently, there are around 1,000 soldiers inside, all willing to defend their home to the death. Not samurai, but still soldiers. And, well, the Emperor is careful not to upset the Haruku family. You see, their leader, Shiroma Haruku, is the leader of the clan and also the current shogun. If we were to upset him, things could go rather sour. So, it would seem best to do things carefully for now. Do you have any questions?
I have more concerns than questions. Assa is much beloved by the swamp people, and even when her father was in charge and after the rebellion, they were a formidable force that never bent to her father's will. You won't, even if we get Assa on our side, it is not guaranteed that the swamp people will follow her unless they feel that she is leading them into a better situation than they are now. Force will not win this day.
Well, then you must
Threat of force.
You must show them that our way of life is a better way of life than their simple peasant life. We have, great machines. We even have magic, which they have a primitive understanding of it.
They have very powerful magics. They are based different than our own, but are just as powerful. And machines bear no interest to them. Their way is the way of the swamp. That is what they've done for generations. It's all they've ever known. A machine to them is as foreign to them as anything. It might as well be a demon from the seven hells.
He says, what I'm hearing from you is excuses, and we need answers and solutions to the problems. So, if we can think of something, then between yourselves, I would see that you do it. Of course, Ryuk is here as an alternative to negotiation.
A kind gesture.
And thank you to Karaktu, who donates £10 and says, a contribution to Sydney's new mic. Also, if possible, give Shin, or if he doesn't fight range, someone else, the Donga Slugger, a flintlock musket, the barrel etched with a donga. Shameless self-promoting. Karaktu actually made some flintlock firearms on the marketplace on DM's Guild recently. So, we'll say that.
I can fight like that. Yeah.
Sergeant Matsu says, I actually have something for Shin, which was made recently by our armorers. Just one example of our excellent machinery that the swamp folk could come to learn of and enjoy. And he kind of hands you this big kind of flintlock musket, engraved with some kind of great worm creature.
Mm. Indeed. I take it I admire its craftsmanship. Is it one-handed or two-handed? Can I handle this one-handed or?
Let me see. I've got it downloaded.
It sounds like it's a two-handed donger.
It is it's
I
a
would assume
two-handed.
that a donger that size takes two hands.
Yeah,
So
it is.
It's two-handed and it's a flintlock, yeah.
Yep, it's Yep. There you go.
Cool. I take it in my hand. I'm. It's a little awkward because it nearly goes off in his face, but I managed to. I put it away carefully and I bow again.
Excellent. And he says, Ryok, as I mentioned, you are here in case things go wrong in negotiations. Should things turn sour, then the Emperor has permitted the assassination of Assa.
Yeah, at that he turns to Gavin and he says, "Yes, sir. If they need reminding of the devils of the Seven Hells, I will remind them."
Excellent. I knew we could rely upon you. Well, Low Candle Marsh and Low Candle itself lies, we believe, a few miles to the east. The thing with these marshes is that they're somewhat strange or magical. You could try and go somewhere one day, and the next it would no longer be there if you tried to go there again. So, best of luck finding it once you get there, and, well, enjoy whatever hospitality Assa has for you. You are dismissed.
One question.
Yes.
I was looking for something that we could offer more than a loss of their way of life and conscription. You might have just presented it. Is dongers for all an option?
Well, not exactly this model, but machinery for all, and all sorts of mechanics are indeed available to them, if they so desire to have them. We can improve technology in a great many ways aside from machines. Our smithies, for instance, are far more advanced than theirs. We can create metals that they couldn't hope to achieve. We could greatly improve their structure of their swords, for instance. We have access to very fine metals. That is something you could offer.
We will take and negotiate as best we are able.
Very well, and remember that the Emperor is putting his name upon this. If anything were to go wrong, then it would not go well for you or for us. So come back with either a peace treaty agreement or Assa's head. Dismissed.
Hopefully the latter.
So you guys...
Shin
Go ahead.
just bows and leaves.
Cool. So you guys are outside the tent of Sergeant Matsu in the war camp of the Imperial Army of Albion, with the Low Candle marshes before you. You look out to the east, where Low Candle supposedly lies, and there's just a cloud of fog rolling out into the kind of abyss that is just like rolling walls of fog, where you guys are kind of just on a bit of a hill where you've camped, and once you get inside, it looks like there's very little to go by. There are certain kind of little specks of light, which are indeed the low candles for which the marsh gets its name, which kind of lead ways. It's like in the Dead Marshes in Lord of the Rings, for instance. So, what are you guys doing here?
He did
Yeah,
lie about
chilling.
the marsh turning around. The Assa herself, who told us about it when last we were here, everything floats. Everything is adrift, and so the entire landscape changes day to day.
So is anyone besides Gavin familiar with this land?
I don't think you know.
Yeah, I'm barely familiar. I was lucky enough to have a very proficient half-orc guide who was able to take us in and bring us back out. I just know that we are going to be hard-pressed. Do any of you have skills in the woodlands or swampus areas?
Shin just shrugs, just says, I've been from many places on my travels, but the breath of death is in the air here.
Yeah, Ryuk looks at everybody and he says, no, my skills are best found at the end of a blade.
Well, I can do my best. And with our faith in St. Cuthbert and in using our heads, and we're bound to make it somewhere where we shall see. We know.
Cool.
Yeah, which side are we on? Are we coming in from the east, headed west like last time?
Yes, yeah. So it's the same route which you'll be looking to take. So Gavin at least has some kind of vague recollection of the direction. So
45 minutes in and we're already winging it.
Yep, that's how we do it. So, yeah, I guess unless there's anything you guys want to do in camp, you can decide if you've got any friends in camp or any NPCs that you're kind of familiar with. There's plenty of armorers and soldiers and other diplomats around, as well as some other assassins in the Emperor's employ. Of course, you guys have never met the Emperor yourself. You've maybe spotted him once, but he's a quite elusive figure. So if there's anything you guys want to get up to in the camp beforehand, to prepare for your journey outwards, now would be a good time to do it.
Yeah, does the camp have scouts? Do we know of anyone that would have a better idea of how to navigate from here to there?
Yeah, there's definitely like a scout kind of area where they tend to hang out and they ride out in the mornings. For the most part, you might have missed them by now, but if you hurry, you might be able to get over there.
Yeah, I think the idea of getting lost in a swamp that has floating things and changes every day does not sound like a good plan to Ryuku, so he's going to go ahead and head over there to the...
I'm up for, getting some more info would be much appreciated.
Yeah. So, yeah, you head over to the kind of scout section, and there are these three ladies who are about to kind of mount their horses and kind of ride off. They look like they're probably late already as it is. They're well armed. They have bows on their backs, and they look like they are probably soldiers from Albion, probably from a far distant land, and the one that you're in now. They're basically kind of medieval Europeans, essentially, and they're about to head out on their horses.
Yeah, so Ryuk would kind of approach these ladies as they're about to mount up. Ohio.
One of them turns and says, "We're late as it is. What is it?"
Do you know these lands?
No, but we're going to find out.
We are to traverse the swamp.
Yes, off to the west.
Yes. Could you help us?
Well, it depends where you're going.
Low Canton.
Well, that's off to the east, so I think, well, at least we think it is. We're not quite sure yet. There's a...
Have you never been?
No.
Well then, I see we are on the same path.
You're going there as well? For what purpose?
Hopefully to murder.
To negotiate.
Or that.
Oh, you're the...
Negotiate a treaty.
You're the diplomats, then.
Well, I think that it is he. And he kind of motions towards Gavin.
Yeah.
I really thought you were pointing to Shin. I was like, no.
Shin's just confused why he's here.
I'm not a diplomat.
Hey,
Shin knows why he's here. It really isn't to communicate.
Yeah. And she's like, well, if you travel, then jump on back. My name's Cass.
Ryuk. And he tries to scramble up on her horse.
Yeah, she's a fairly down-to-earth looking woman, dressed in kind of leathers, brown hair, and probably in her kind of getting towards 30, quite athletically built, and she kind of, just you kind of jump up, she immediately starts running off. Gavin and Shin, are you guys coming along on the horses too?
I was gonna say there was three altogether, right?
Yeah.
Gavin Fjordhammer. I introduced myself to the next one. I actually probably gave the horse a look over, having been a blacksmith and dealt with horses my whole life, and kick the tires, so to speak, in the medieval sense, to see which of the two, knowing that I'm a heavier guy.
Just boot this horse in the shin, Just, this one will do as it like cripples, falls over.
All right, yeah, you jump on back, and she just kind of looks back at you and nods. Jen. She's got a redhead, auburn-haired kind of girl, probably a bit older, kind of 30 to mid-30s. And thank you to Noise, mate, for following. Welcome to the event, my friends. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Noise, mate, has thus far made the excellent comment of MILF after I described a woman. Good job, buddy.
He's starting off his role here with a bang.
Gavin's an older gentleman. He's okay with a little MILF action going on.
All right, then. I didn't start this, guys, just so you know.
No.
And then, so finally, Shin, you're left with a girl with kind of dark black hair who looks like she actually might be more from this land, from the old lands. By which I mean,
describe my MILF.
Exactly, yeah. Pimp my MILF. No, she's essentially she's kind of got like Asian features to her, got dark hair, round brown eyes, and probably the youngest of the group, actually, mid-20s.
Gavin looks at the horse. Shin looked at the girl.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Shin literally just walks up and jumps and like lands on the back of the horse.
You're getting the wrong ride.
Yeah.
All right then. So you approaching 30 is hardly MILF territory. So let's move the discussion on from MILFs, guys. The only person here who's got any real information on that is, of course, Mike, because he's ancient.
Yeah.
So yeah. So you guys head off on the horses, riding out of the camp towards the fog, and very quickly this fog envelops you and the horses as well, and it becomes very difficult to see the ladies that you're with, Jen, Cass, and the last girl who names herself Rebecca.
Seto Yashohan.
Seto Yashohan.
He's fallen off the horse in shock.
That's the reveal later on where I mindfuck you, and like he takes off the helmet. It's Seto Yashohan. No, I'm not that gratuitous in my own like fanboying just yet. Not just yet, anyway. So you ride out, and very quickly, like I say, you can't see anything but for the fog, and the ladies having a hard time trying to work their way through it by looking at these little candles which have been lit. Somehow, you don't know how, you can only presume that they are magically lit, because they never seem to go out, and you basically follow the lights as a trail. And this is where we're going to bring in our first viewer decision of the day, because we hit 20 retweets quite early on, and I don't want to keep you guys waiting any longer. So underneath this line here in the chat, if you guys would throw your ideas as to what could happen next in our adventure. It could be that something attacks them in the marsh, it could be that they simply stumble across a man or a dude or a lady, or something could happen, or it could be something affecting the party themselves, or anything really. So it could be as simple as they reach their destination safely. So throw ideas into the chat. The most popular decision will happen. We'll throw it into a straw poll, so get that going. Also, if you haven't followed yet, hit that follow button and join us. We're just 2 followers away from a second viewer decision, and here's a tweet for you guys to retweet when we hit 30 retweets. So also, if you haven't checked out XP web series, go check that out. This week, we're sponsored to tell you guys to go and check them out. They got really cool D&D web series show over there, and you should go check it out. We're also giving away a copy of Storm King's Thunder, so check that out as well. So if one of the mods could handle this one, that would be great. So yeah, So you guys are riding through the marsh, and you ride through it for the best part of the entire evening, essentially. It becomes even darker than before, and you're kind of all sense of time gets kind of lost until there is almost no light coming through the fog whatsoever. The horses are tired, and sorry, you guys have been riding all day, and so Cass just kind of like stops them, she says, "I think we're done for the day. Let's make camp here." And they start to basically make a camp. Are you guys helping out in the camp making and just letting them work it?
Gavin will help out. He's, he knows how to build a campfire. He'll help get things together and get out Agatha and start dinner.
Nice. What is Shin up to?
Shin is reading some terrifying suggestions from chat, like some really messed up stuff that apparently is accurate to the culture. So no, Shin will jump down and he'll probably just sort of make himself busy. He's good at like making a camp, not so good at like the social side of things. Gotcha.
Yeah. So I guess it comes to a point where you guys sit down to eat Agatha's broth from Gavin, and Cass, who's a girl of the kind of long brown hair, she says, "So you're here to speak to Assa and Locandle, but what's your intentions? I heard that she was gonna put up a fight to the death, and well, it was gonna be a massacre." That's the idea, right?
We hope not. I hope not. She actually is quite a noble woman. We fought side by side against a legion of undead and a hellish tree that created them not 6 months ago. She's a formidable woman and quite honorable. Her father was the one who had killed thousands in the last swamp person uprising. And he blamed it on her brother, convinced the brother that he had committed the crimes. And so while he sacrificed himself, she saved the village and slew her father, taking his position. The people love her. They will fight to the death for her, but also would fight for the death for her if she came to our side. They would be a formidable army to keep this swamp secure for the Emperor.
Well, if you can convince them to stop fighting, I guess that would mean a lot less blood spilt on our side, which would be good. We've lost too many in the wars before, at least. Well, the soldiers are getting itchy for a fight, None of us have seen action in a while now. We've been traveling through the old lands for the better part of a year, and everyone just, keeps giving up, and as has rather stolen the imagination of the men. The warrior, almost goddess, I suppose. We'll see how it goes. Ryuk, you're not a diplomat, right?
No. I like to leave my diplomacy on the end of this blade. He pulls out one of his swords.
She nods. Ah, I see. So you're the plan B then?
You could say that.
Well, and do you all know each other, or are you just banded together? Are you all in the same team?
No, it appears that the cook he likes to eat and talk loudly. This one, he likes to talk not at all.
Ah, I see. I'm gonna get some rest for the night. Does someone mind taking the first watch?
Yes, I will take the watch.
Good. Thank you. And she kind of heads off to sleep. You guys can stay up all night if you guys want, or just
Have a party, man.
Yeah. In fact, we're going to bring in our viewer decision here. So, Rebecca says, before you leave, she says, I have something. It might do to lift our spirits. Have you ever done a sake bomb drinking competition?
Oh, yes, sir. The sake bomb competition.
Yes. It is ancient tradition among my people. Amongst new friends around the campfire, it is common to get drunk together.
It is common to get them in while it is going 5 for 5 pounds. It's very good.
The sake is very good in this bar.
Ryuk actually pulls out his own sake cup, holds it out to her. Has one on him for any occasion.
A new challenger has entered the field.
Player 2 has entered the game.
Don't you have work?
No one saw that coming. He has his own cup. Oh,
I still want to do Styx's accent, but I won't. What's sake? What is this sake of which you're speaking?
And
I've got to do Styx's accent. Hey, what's sake?
what's sake? She says, it is strong alcohol. Very good.
This is something I'm familiar with. Yes. And again, Gavin not thinking, they have their little cups out. He brings out like a big tumbler. He brings out one of these. For sake.
Yeah. And you, Shin, will you drink of us?
Shin nods.
Good. And so she kind of hands them all out for you guys to drink from. You should each roll me a Constitution saving throw for this one to see which one of you lasts longest.
Strong competition.
So let me know which is the for sake.
Wait.
Oh, damn. And that is from, let me bring that just so we can see it a little bit better on the screen. Who rolled that nat 20? It was Shin. There we go. So, yes, the others fall by the wayside about 7 sake bombs in. But Shin just drinks it like, it was in that extended, like when Legolas and Lord of the Rings, he's like, I think it's affecting me. And the others are getting kind of roaring drunk. But Shin is just there like, this is water. I feel nothing.
Shin just keeps drinking, and after a while, like everyone else sort of goes to sleep, and he's just like, but I had so much to say. And he just hangs his head. He's like, it's finally coming out of my shell. Okay. Just like he goes and takes the first watch as everyone else smashed.
Perfect. Can we hear some ERP drinks in chat for the drinking session that we've just had? So perfect. And Elsie, the drunken master, you get advantage on all attacks, saves, and checks, and +1 Constitution until next rest. So you're feeling pretty good.
Indeed. Yeah.
Yeah. So the morning comes painfully and slowly for Ryuk, Gavin, and Rebecca and Jen.
Girls do.
Yeah, Jen's a redhead, so she's obviously Scottish, and therefore she drank up until Shin, but then passed out pretty swiftly thereafter. And Rebecca is pretty small. And so she really couldn't. She's like that drunk girl that's like, let's get drunk, and then she gets white girl wasted really quickly.
Oh god.
2 sake bombs.
There's nothing worse.
It wasn't even that. It was one sake, and then she broke out the prosecco. It was like, and then she was gone.
And then she threw up in her handbag, gave her shoes to Shin, and left.
And then left.
Fuck my life.
She made you call a taxi. And pay for like some fast food on the way back. and then you got
one mouthful.
and then
Just left.
ate one mouthful. You got to her door, and then she closed it on you. It was terrible. It was a bad night. So am I right, fellas? So so you yes, you guys wake up this next morning very groggily and pretty painfully, but you start heading on the horses once again until maybe 10 a.m. You guys have kind of, the motion of the horses is pretty like churning for everyone but Shin, and also Cass, who didn't actually drink. She just went to bed. She was the boring one, and so you guys kind of just feeling rather ill this morning when you come upon Low Candle, and it is before you in all of its magnificence, and you see that the candles here just kind of blaze up into full-on torches, and it's what looks like a full-on city. Last time Gavin was here, only 6 months ago, it was really just a kind of large-ish town, medium-sized really, but it's spread out, and they have huge fields here in which they're kind of making all sorts of different produce and foods. Despite it being marshland, they have some arable land here as well. All the houses are actually on stilts, and that is to avoid there being flooding, because they're living in a swamp, so often it will flood, and so everything here is kind of stilted and made out of wood and bamboo as well, kind of holds some of it up as well, and it looks like a thriving population. There are all sorts of people around here, and you also notice that let me bring that up a bit. There we go. Yeah, you also notice that there is a wall outside, although it wasn't before, kind of palisade wall upon which there are a lot of men armed with bows, arrows, and the like, heavily armored in like samurai style armor, I suppose, but they're not actually samurai. It's not actually samurai armor. It's just kind of like Eastern armor, I suppose, from the Middle Ages and stuff. So and there's a gate which people are going in and out of, but they kind of they look to be checking everyone that's coming in and talking to them. It's like customs nowadays, really. That's where you guys are. And Cass, Jen, and Rebecca say, Cass says, I think it's time that we move on. Leave you guys here. We have no business in there.
Yes. Good.
Thanks for the ride.
Thank you.
Shin just nods.
And
The man of few words.
I have an urge to break out. I have an urge to break out the rudimentary Japanese I know.
oh man. And thank you to Mad Haberdasher for following. Welcome to the adventure, my friend, your gentleman and scholar. I'll try not to talk so much, Richard.
He sells buttons.
So, and so Cass is like, well, fair travels to you and best of luck.
Yes, thank you.
May the Emperor be with you. And they kind of ride off back into the marshes, leaving you guys alone with Low Candle before you.
Ryuka's gonna look to Gavin and say, "Is this the Low Candle you know?"
It is not. They have quite changed underneath of Assa. Apparently, her leadership has brought quite prosperity to the land, and quite a much more military defenses than they had before. All of this palisade is new. The guards, not unexpected with the marsh people that she's befriended. We will need to tread lightly, but hopefully, I would hope that I can at least get us an audience from our acquaintance from a few months ago. Shall we approach?
Yeah. So at all that information, Ryuka's kind of, I guess, shocked, or not shocked, but suspicious of a 6-month massive growth period. So he's going to activate his Eldritch Sight, and he basically blinks, and then his eyes take on this weird, like, fiery purpley glow, and he can now see as if he cast Detect Magic.
Cool. So, you see before you this kind of In fact, when you open up your eyes to this extra sense, you see that all of the marsh has this weird kind of tendrils of smoke kind of working their way through them alongside the mist, which is some kind of strange magic which you're not familiar with. The entire city of Lokandal is kind of wreathed in this bubble of magic. There is some kind of weird kind of like symbol at the very top of it, but it's all kind of like swirling smoke and mist, and you can't really make sense of it. It's like looking into the sun almost. It kind of almost blinds you, and you can just make out like shapes. But there's definitely some very powerful magic, which is clearly very foreign in this place as well.
Yeah, he'll kind of relay that to everybody. I sense something here. Some kind of magic is at work.
It doesn't surprise me. They have powerful, as I was saying, powerful magics here based on the inherent magic within this swamp. If they've figured out a way to harness it, this is not the easy fight if it comes to that.
Yes, I see that now. Shall we proceed?
We shall.
Cool. So you guys head up towards the gates and wait for a while in line. Everyone gives you some kind of very odd looks. I actually notice you, those who don't look like you're from around here. If you're someone who could be from, Albion, but eventually it's your time to be kind of go up to customs essentially, and it is two guards here, similarly in this kind of old armor, and spears on their backs. Helmeted and kind of visored as well, and they kind of point you to come forward, and one of them says, "What is your business here, travelers?"
By any chance, do I recognize either one of them?
Roll me a... roll me like a history check, I suppose, to see if you recognize these guys, because it's very tough to see them in their helmets, so you're just going on a voice, basically. See if you recognize these guys.
Let's roll a history check.
So, on a 6... oh god, that's a horrible sound. That's coming from Mike. There's a really horrible sound. Like, blowing fan or something.
The worst.
Yeah. But anyway, I'll let you deal with that.
Yeah.
I love his
face.
confused
He's so
face.
confused. You don't recognize his voice. I mean, you didn't meet a lot of people, and there's a lot of people in the city, so...
Well, hello, Gavin Fjordhammer. I'm actually a friend of Assa's. I helped her a few months back. Would very much like to be able to meet her if possible.
Fjordhammer, that is a name known to us. How do we know that you are the real Gavin?
I take off my glove and show my hand, and I will never remember the name of the witch doctor lady who gave it to me, but Gavin knows.
Yes, me neither. So, she
looked like the witch doctor from Pirates of the Caribbean.
She's Tia Dalma, basically.
She is,
And he says, yes, you spoke of the hand, but who are your companions? We know the Fjordhammer, but not these men.
I will vouch for them within the city. They are my companions. As you know, Lokandal Marsh is not a place to tread without companions at your side. I will vouch for them within.
He looks to Shin and says, "This one has the look of a samurai about him." You're muted, Josh.
He
Right.
drops his game.
Yeah, there we go. Drink.
Oh, he drops his gaze and shakes his head solemnly and says, "Shin Assa, I was once honored with that title, but no more."
Very well. And finally, who is this man, all clad in black? Looking towards Ryuk.
I am a security Shin.
Very well. You will go under armed guard towards Assa. I will announce your presence to her.
That is acceptable.
And he just kind of turns very promptly on his heel and leads you through the town. And as you're going through the town, all sorts of kind of people kind of turn and look at you. There's merchant traders in the streets selling their fine wares and silks and spices, as well as just everyday goods. A lot of rice and kind of just basic kind of foods being sold here in mass. On the marketplaces. Plenty of guards are walking through town. They, in particular, give you very kind of suspicious or even hate-filled glares. Bearing in mind, you represent people who are coming to destroy their way of life. They don't really seem to be all that keen on you. Though Shin kind of doesn't necessarily look like an Albion, or an Albionite, I suppose. So they most of the attention is centered towards Gavin, in fact. So after some time walking through the city, see you later, Snuggle, and see you later, Supporter. Sometime walking through the city, you come to a kind of main hall, which is where Gavin last seen with Assa was. And it's now much more expanded, big kind of almost like temple features around it as well. There's a lot of statues around as well to kind of old gods that you're not familiar with, and very Asian architecture. You've got a lot of kind of triangular roofed stuff going on compared to domes and stuff like that, and all of this is made out of wood as well, and all of it is stilted as per usual, and there's a ton of guards all around the place as well. So you are led inside the temple kind of area, main hall. You're not really sure exactly what its function is. Potentially has a dual function. And the kind of sense of incense and also soup assail your nostrils as you enter in here. And as you see Assa, for the first time in a little while, or for the first time for you guys, she is actually kind of sitting down on the floor, very simply with her legs crossed, and she's got a bowl of soup on the floor. She's got this kind of long, dyed dark black hair, which is kind of over one ear at the moment. She's she would be kind of attractive, but she's got these kind of weird blue eyes that seem to stare into your soul, and occasionally they just glaze over as if she's not in the moment at all. For those magic users, you'd probably recognize her to be some kind of shaman or seer. She certainly has some kind of gift, and when Raya kind of assails her, kind of opens his extra kind of vision to look at her, she's kind of just covered in this tendril and smoke. She's like a burning sun, and she kind of looks up at you just as the sergeant kind of bows and says, "Lady Assa, Fjordhammer has come with these two men to speak with you." And she just she smiles and kind of puts her hair back as she stands up, and she has a bowl of soup still with her, and she's like, "Oh, Gavin, you hungry? Pass a bowl of soup."
Assa, so good to see you again. You made my favorite. I bet you saw that coming, didn't you?
Yes, I had an inkling that you might be here, along with the Fallen, looking towards Shin, and the Deathwalker, looking towards Ryuk. You are all welcome here in my house. Please, there'll be some more soup out. And immediately, a guard is like, "Soup!" and runs to grab some soup in a very Disney style. Brings some soup towards you guys as is custom. It's like bread and salt. And as a kind of welcome gesture into someone's house. And so she says, "Well, I saw you're coming, but I did not foresee the reason for it. You march under a new army now, Gavin."
I do. I believe fate has brought us together, hopefully to once again do right by your country and by your village, town, city now. You have quite expanded. It's amazing the difference. I assume this is due in part to you coming to your full potential.
Yes, you could say that, I suppose. There are many forces at work in Low Candle and across the old lands which your new war leader does not seem to understand or care for. He would see them destroyed. But enough of politics for now. Tell me, Gavin, how have things been recently? And she starts walking out into a garden area.
I follow. I assume we follow.
Yeah, I guess you guys go.
Yeah.
I have my soup with me because that's Gavin.
Yeah.
They have been interesting times for myself. I have been adjusting to the gift your father took from me and your medicine woman restored to me. It has been an interesting transition, but I seem to have been able to find a balance. It's interesting. I think it knows its home.
Ah, that is interesting. The magic in this place is strange. The spirits call you home, Gavin. And the Deathwalker. What is your name?
So he's been very observant about these surroundings and all of the magic that permeates everywhere.
Yeah.
He says, What is this? He like motions to everything.
Yeah.
What is this magic that surrounds you?
Well, I'm not quite sure I could make you understand in a sentence. Indeed, I am still learning myself, but it's a very old magic, and only those who take to the samurai way of life are gifted with it.
It surrounds you like a cloak. It is everywhere.
It protects me. It is me.
How does it protect you?
Try killing me. That's why you're here, right?
Yeah, he doesn't hesitate.
Yeah, you just like...
He immediately pulls out both swords from his belt and tries to cut at her.
it's just like... He's like, free pass.
Gavin actually starts to react,
Yeah.
but then, knowing Assa, he
Stops
does
himself.
the reaction, but then is like,
Yeah.
Assa's got this.
she got this. You just you take your swords and you just plunge them into Assa's body, and you just feel them kind of go through her. She just kind of looks at you, and her eyes just kind of blue, and you just like pull them out again, like and there's no blood upon the swords themselves, and you see like the open wounds where you've just kind of run her through just begin to kind of seal over very slowly, just kind of knit themselves back together, a blow which would have completely eviscerated her were she a normal person. She says, see, it's kind of neat.
He says, yes, sir, kind of neat. This is not of this world. What
Correct.
do you call magic?
Well, I can't be giving away all my secrets to the enemy now, can I? But you can take that back to your emperor. If he tries to come here and take Low Candle, then he's going to have something else waiting for him.
No candle.
Shin, tell me, how exactly did you lose your status? Seeing as we're...
His whole demeanor has just dramatically just changed. Seeing someone that essentially has the opportunity to die and chooses not to, it's not the sort of thing he appreciates in any way. But he says, "I was cast out for disobeying my superior."
I see. Well, it is possible to return to the samurai way of life. I am personal friends with the Shogun, Shiroma Haruku. I could put in a good word for you, I suppose. If negotiations go well, of course.
He looks to her and sort of wrinkles his nose slightly and says, "One does not buy a samurai's honor."
I'm sure it wouldn't be easy. Anyway, down to business, I suppose. You're here to negotiate. Here is my offer. You leave and never come back again. We remain here in peace and will trade with the lands of Albion. Or there will be a fight, and we will lose the fight, and we will die. But we will do so for the honor of this land and the power which it holds here.
I want to insight check that because she quite clearly didn't just die. And
Yeah.
I don't trust this woman at
Sure.
all, in the slightest. In any respect. For a 9, I know all the things about her.
Yeah,
Read her autobiography.
she's a tough one to read. She's a tough cookie. She's got these kind of blue eyes that occasionally just glaze over as she's looking off into other things. So she's almost like half talking to you, you know?
Yeah. Shay says, Shin says, "This power you possess, it is native to the swamp."
Not as such. It is samurai.
Explain.
You see, when one truly realizes who they actually are, then you can access higher levels of understanding. Meditation and prayer and a different way of life are
You
necessary.
mean to understand your true name?
I do. And Shiroma Hiroku showed me this when I came to power. He showed me the way of the samurai. It taught me their practices. It is a noble way of life, one which I have embraced fully. And I encourage you to as well. Shin, of course, this is a practice known only to the highest of your order. Many samurai live their lives as normal men. For those of us gifted, such as I, it's a powerful combination.
You do not wish to war with these people.
No, but I will. And all of the shogunate will as well. If this town is attacked, then, well, you bring war with all of the people of Low Candle and all those in the mountains, including the shogun. Again, it is a war we cannot win. But we will fight. And we will die. Once this place is taken, then even I will be gone. And the Shogun too. But it will be a hard winter, and we will outlast it. It might even be 2-3 years that we could last up in the mountains. A war that the Emperor would not want, even though eventually he would outlast us. So, what is your counter-offer?
I feel as though you have not made an offer for us to counter. But I have not been paid to kill you, nor am I apparently able. Why would you not just join the army?
Join the army? Well, that would be forsaking my way of life, and
Why?
these people here.
Why would
Because you would be taking money to kill. You would be a paid murderer.
Yes, I am a paid murderer.
Then that is not our way of life.
But that is what I am.
I understand that.
That is
But
not
it-
what they are.
It doesn't have to be that way, though, does it, Ryuk?
Yes, it does.
Why?
That is what brings honor to my clan.
Well, then I suppose your clan are rather a rotten lot, then, aren't they?
You could say this, yes.
Well, I
I'm
believe...
not asking you to join my clan. My clan is not part of this army either. Nor am I. I'm hired.
Well, it is a kind offer which you make, Ryok, but I cannot simply give up my title, give up my people, and forsake everything I know. Nor will the people have it either. Even if I were to leave, then they would not.
Yes,
Gavin,
if you just... If you pay taxes, would you not keep your way of life?
Have you
Shin,
not-
like, reaches a hand out towards Ryok and says, "This negotiation is over." He looks back towards Gavin and just says, "These people do not wish a way of life that is not their own. No matter how many technological advances we could bring, they have no interest in it. It is not who they are. It is not what they want. And they will die to protect themselves." He turns, he nods face.
She bows respectfully.
"I fear we are at war."
I feel the same.
Is there nothing we can do to turn you from this path? Have you already seen this come to pass, that there is no solution, Assa?
Sometimes these things happen, Gavin. I do not see all that lies before us. But I know that our paths will meet again, and I sense that the three of you too still have a part to play in these events. We will see each other again, I'm certain of it. Under different circumstances, I'm sure.
He nods and says, "We thank you for your hospitality and that of your house. If I meet you on the battlefield..."
I'll kill you. She winks.
He nods. "It would be an honor." And Shin turns to leave and hopes people follow. Otherwise, he's just really cocked up a dramatic exit.
Yeah, Ryuk bows deeply and says, "I too thank you for your hospitality. I have learned much in our short time, and I look forward to killing you and taking your power." And he turns and follows.
She stops you just as you go. She's smiling all the while. She takes this quite well, really, and quite good-natured. And she just kind of takes your kind of cheek with her hand, and she just kind of looks at you with her blue eyes, just kind of stare at you. And there's a moment for Ryuk where it's just kind of, you just feel tranquility and peace, and finally, just a very brief moment for Ryuk where he finally doesn't feel like he has to do anything, because Ryuk is a man who feels like he needs to bring honor to his clan, he needs to kill, he needs to do something else, he always needs to be achieving, and he's under a fair amount of pressure to do that all the time. And for that brief moment, there's just nothing else but her eyes looking at yours, and then she just lets go, and then suddenly that weight of all the problems that Ryuk has just suddenly kind of tumble back down upon him, and it's a bad time. It's like waking up from a nice dream, you know? It just turns to leave. And thanks so much to Bubbernaut for the host. Thanks to my man. How's it going, Bubs? Shout out to the Bubbernaut. If you guys don't follow Bubs yet, I don't know what you're playing at. And then finally, Gavin, you're left with Assa.
So Gavin just sort of, he sort of towers over her. He just puts both of his hands on her shoulders, and he looks down at her, and he's visibly upset, but he does manage to smile because it's Assa, and just says, "I do hope you give me that soup recipe before my time comes."
Oh, you'll have to kill me for it.
I know.
I was genuinely waiting for you to just be like, he towers over her, he smiles, he puts his hands on his shoulders, inflict wounds, 3rd level. It's like, oh damn!
He just crushes her head to death. Whoa, whoa, that's a good turn.
Campaign over.
Yeah, she smiles at you, and says, well, it's been an honor knowing you, Gavin, and remember, there is always a choice in these things. There are many paths that do not seem obvious to us that are open and waiting for us if merely we turn around. And then she kind of bows and heads off into her garden.
Gavin leaves. As he goes through the main house, he gets another refill of soup and then heads out.
Of course, yeah, of course. You guys return or begin your journey back, I guess, to the place. Oh, and thanks so much to Bubanoid. Today's £10. It says much love to the Encounter crew. Thanks so much, Bubs. I really appreciate it, my man. £10 closer to Sydney's new microphone that she stepped on and ripped the other day. Thanks so much, Bubs. How's it going, my man? Welcome back, Nasi. So, to catch you guys up on the adventure, they have just had an interaction with Assa, who leads the Low Candle Marsh people and the city of Low Candle, and they've decided that they indeed are going to war with the Marsh folk and the Samurai folk who live up in the mountains to the north, as well as the army of Albion, who are coming here to assault you guys. So, if you guys are new to the channel, do hit the follow button and join us. We're here 5 nights a week, 10 shows a week, all Dungeons and Dragons, all Tobazot role-playing games. So come along, join us if you haven't already. In fact, one follower away from a viewer decision where you guys in the chat get to decide what happens next in our story. So do hit that button if you are new. Also, here's a tweet. When it hits 30 retweets, you guys get to decide something which happens next that campaign as well. So, you can, of course, donate to affect the game as well. So give players nat 1s, nat 20s, wild magic surges, all that good nonsense. So, you guys head back. Is there anything in particular you guys want to be doing on the journey back other than just kind of getting back to camp, basically?
Yeah, Ryuka's going to take a look at as much of the defenses of this town from the interior as possible.
Okay, cool. And thank you to Yggdrasil Shadow for following. Welcome to the adventure, my friend. You're a gentleman and a scholar. So we'll assume that you're kind of having a look at the defense of the town, seeing how many forces it has. And thank you to Raiden Snake for following as well. You're also a gentleman and a scholar. So underneath this line, in the chat, these guys are going to be traveling back. We'll get to anything the rest of you guys want to do in a second. So underneath this line in the chat, you guys decide what happens next whilst they're traveling backwards. Is there going to be another sake competition? You guys decide. Throw your ideas into the chat, and the most popular decision from that straw poll, which we're going to make out of your ideas, will happen. So, Gavin, it looks like you wanted to...
Gavin's actually going to go see his witch doctor.
Ooh, yes, good idea. Okay, so you head off to where you knew she would. Yeah, you remember where she would be, and you go to where the hut once was, and standing there instead is a well. Her hut is no longer there.
I'm gonna follow my good friend's action. I'm going to cast detect magic.
Yeah.
See if maybe it's an illusion.
Yeah. You look for an illusion. There's nothing there. It's just she's just gone.
Huh. Well, that went well.
Gavin maybe asks around to see if she has left the town, if she's still here.
Yeah. One of them says, she is. A hag is somewhere in the swamp. She left after Assa's reign. Some say she still wanders the marshes, but none of us have seen her in 6 months. If she is alive, then, well, she's probably out there alone.
You know, I was like, I can hear her. I can hear her in the marsh.
It's a hag.
No, I ask if she's not been seen in town since.
No. Travelers sometimes say that they see a hag on the mists, but it's likely just their imagination.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much. If you happen to see her, say Gavin was looking for her.
He nods. He's like, Gavin's a strange name.
Don't remember me.
And kind of backs away nervously away from you. Yeah, eventually you guys are starting to make your way back. Did Shin want to do anything in here in particular whilst he's still around, or is he good?
Shin, are there any samurai openly training outside? Like, considering they're possibly gearing up for war?
Yeah, there are samurai out here. There's a contingent of 30 of them which are training in a kind of yards nearby.
In which case, he wants to go and watch. He doesn't want to. He would prefer not to be seen. But
Yeah.
it just.
You
kind of. He misses it, and he also is curious to see, their fighting capacity, and if they seem to possess any strange powers like this woman that we've just met in.
Yeah, these guys don't appear to have any of the powers which Assa did. But you watch them do their kind of dance. It's like an outfit of like dancers performing a routine almost, as they kind of go through the motions very delicately, moving their blades across and kind of practicing fighting one another in an excellent kind of display of swordsmanship. That they appear to be, very excellent swordsmen of a very high caliber, higher caliber than any of the men in your own. Yes, they're all reading The Art of War currently. They're all studying it,
I totally didn't buy this in preparation.
That's funny. Go ahead.
Just if on the way back, it takes two days to get back as well.
Yeah.
Or whatever. The first night out of Low Candle, whenever we're camping, Gavin's gonna sneak away from the camp, not far enough to get lost.
Yeah.
We can see the fire. Find a big tree that might be on one of these floating pieces, and he is going to do his channel divinity for the Raven Queen, touch of death on one of the trees and leave a handprint. Sort of, and close his eyes with the idea of, how else do I leave a calling card? And that's basically what he's doing. Sort of close his eyes, fly a prayer to the Raven Queen, that he's looking for the witch.
hag. Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's awesome. After that, Shin, they don't notice you practicing until they're kind of finished, and their actual kind of instructor, their trainer, who he's actually a very old samurai. Lives by the kind of samurai tradition, hasn't died by the sword, and so he lives on to train the youth. Probably well into his 80s even, greying, kind of not a lot of hair. He wears his kind of simple robes, and you don't really notice him coming over. He actually moves with great speed and actually a fair amount of stealth as well, and comes over towards you, kind of just before you, and says, "Why do you watch so intently, young man?"
Shin's probably like so enraptured, he's slightly startled. He's more sort of like, it's just the sound of like the weapons and everything is just bearing down on him, and as he snaps out of it, he starts a little and says, gives a very deep bow and says, "My name is Shin Assa. I was once a samurai."
"You have come home, then?"
"No, I am not permitted to return." And he averts his eyes and says, "Apologies, I am running."
He normally from a samurai this would garner great hatred. It's kind of huge dishonor. You could even be attacked potentially. But he just kind of nods. He just kind of nods gravely and says, "Then you have fallen from the path, but no. that if there is good in your heart, then the samurai way will return to you soon.
My
He
name is
doesn't look up. He doesn't look up. Oh my god. Oh god. Oh god. He doesn't look up. He refuses to meet the man's gaze, fearing sort of like he would bring disrespect upon him. But he says, "It is my destiny to regain my honor, or die trying."
He nods and says, "Seek out your path. Sometimes the clearest path is right behind you." And as he kind of motions behind you, and Gavin and Ryuk are standing there waiting for you to leave of them.
Cool. Hold on, wait. Sorry, say that again. So that I got distracted.
He says sometimes
Yeah.
the clearest path is right behind you, and just looks over your shoulder, and as Gavin and Ryuk are just standing there waiting for you to leave with them, basically.
Yeah. He nods, a little embarrassed, and he starts heading back towards them. Very quiet, very out of character.
Yeah. And so you guys begin your journey back to the army camp. And we're going to get this straw polling. Go ahead and vote, guys, for the journey back, and we'll see what happens next in our adventure here. I didn't want any gender changing ones. I'm actually not going to have the gender changing one just because it is just awkward. But I like the Kitsune one.
It's not that one. It's the Kappa.
The Kappa, let me see.
Oh, such Kappa. As a river, the Kappa tries to drag one of the characters underwater and steal his liver through his anus.
His anus.
See, you think Twitch Kappa, but it's actually the Japanese water spirit Kappa. Water demon.
Oh my lord. Vote for Kappa. It's Dan Kappa. You start beginning your journey back. The first night, you guys are kind of rest up and are on watch. So who takes the first watch? Whilst you're kind of making your way back to the camp?
Ryu can take the first watch.
Okay.
No, I'll take it. I'll take it because I haven't actually rolled anything yet, and
That's
I
fair.
have advantage until my next rest. So
Oh, right.
I might as well use something.
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, so I'll take it.
Okay. Roll me a perception check if you'd be so kind.
Double 24.
Damn.
I'll that advantage work out for you.
Yeah. So you spot the first few hours some creature, or maybe several, kind of rustling nearby in the camp, kind of in a hedge nearby, we'll say. You just spot a little furry tail coming out from the darkness.
Okay. I guess, I don't think out here it's just sort of like I feel like it would be very weird to see something like
Yeah.
that. I'm thinking more like slimy swamp creatures, and that's so like snakes. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So to see that weird, and Shin is going to stand as quietly as he can, and he's going to try and get the jump on whatever this is. And as he does, he will walk over to Ryuk and crouch down, and he's going to put a hand over Ryuk's mouth to make sure he doesn't make any noise when he wakes up, and just shake him very gently and hold a finger to his lips.
So,
And then put a finger on Ryuk's lips. This is a dream. Then it is a good dream.
That is a good dream.
yeah, you feel like a poke in the ribs as you realize like his eyes snap open and it's his tail holding a kunai to your ribs, and then he sees it's you, and like he just like looks confused, and then lowers.
You have a wakiashi just under your armpit, like ready to. We're both just like we know how this works.
It just has a kunai at all times.
Yeah, exactly.
Why not? Why wouldn't he? Yeah, he just looked very confused at you with his hand over his mouth.
And he eyes points towards where he saw this tail, and then he's going to sort of like move forward, essentially like almost on all fours, but with the blade in one hand, as quietly and as low as he can, to whatever this is. Potentially, I'm thinking food. Like this could be something that we could eat. And fresh food is good.
Out from the out from the bushels, old bushels. You see these the kind of like furry tail which was once there, kind of in the darkness, just kind of like go away, and then kind of out from the bush, for high bushes, I guess, step these three young ladies, who are not the three young lady adventurers who you were with before in the employ of the Imperial Army, but they're all kind of red-haired women with foxy features.
You know.
Oh god. Right, okay, just out of curiosity, do you mean foxy creatures or are they just foxy ladies?
I mean, they are. You saw a tail at one point, but you don't see a tail now.
Okay. In which case, like, I just hold them
Gently.
at a distance,
Caress
with
them.
my blade, and I say, "What are you doing here?"
And they kind of smile at you and they say, "We're just looking for company."
He gestures back towards the town.
I mean, you're like a day away, I guess. Like, this is the first edge
He
travel.
knows.
Yeah.
Doesn't care.
Well, the fact that we can't see your face makes that voice so much more
Yeah,
terrible.
it's just oh my
Only
god,
stream
is
can
this
see
the
it.
waifu? Is this the waifu? I can't handle the waifu.
Kuriga-san!
Oh, hello!
Ohayou gozaimasu!
Oh, kuriga-san.
So when Shin started moving away, Ryuku would have like blinked and turned on his Eldritch Vision again, and then would have stealthed sort of in the opposite direction that Shin went.
Okay. Okay. Still snoring away. Yeah, they say, "No, it is very dark. We need to stay in camp. We need to stay in camp. It's only game why you have to be mad." I don't know if you've seen that video. I don't know if you've seen that video. Oh. It's only game. Why you have to be mad? I'll show you guys.
No idea what's happening. I need to find out now.
I'll play on stream just so people understand.
It's only a game.
Understand what the fuck is going on.
What weird British things are happening right now.
It's only a
Weird
game.
British things. Oh, you missed
Why
this,
do you
didn't you?
have to
This
be
is what
mad?
happens when you take
It's
you take
only
Will
game.
away for too long.
Why
He has
do
to
you
come
have
back
to
and
be
dote us
mad?
up on some hashtag weird British
It's-
things.
Only game. Why you have to be mad? Okay, so she says it's dark. We need to stay in the camp.
I said, what happened to your voice?
Oh, sorry.
I kill her. I kill her now.
She's a doppelganger.
Demon lady. I just say, where have you come from? We are nowhere near any settlements.
Oh, we are swamp folk. We live out here in the marsh. We are going to Locandle.
It's that way.
Oh, but it is late now. And you have such nice fire.
Yes.
And you're such big boys. Especially this one. And like and then Gavin, we'll assume that Gavin wakes up at this point. There are free honeys before you.
Gavin's going up. Nice to meet you.
Oh, it is nice to meet you too. My name is Kitsunoi.
Fuck my life.
Will, you're nailing it.
Thanks, man.
Keep it up, Will. You're nailing it.
Thanks, man.
Oh my god. So at the remark of the nice fire, Ryuk is gonna use thaumaturgy and just dim the fire as much as possible.
Dim the lights.
Yeah. He's gonna try, he can't extinguish flame, but he can make the fire go down.
Can you Barry
Oh,
White?
I can't Barry White.
Okay.
He's gonna try to make as little bit of light as possible to go, oh, what nice fire, you have to go now.
She's like,
oh.
oh yeah, baby.
I can make my voice real loud.
That one's Gavin's.
Gavin. Oh, is this Gavin?
She's very handsome.
You have such big muscles.
I'm still holding all of them at sword point at this point.
And you have such big sword. Very big sword.
This is not a sword, this is a short sword.
Sword very long. Oh, short sword. And they all say, oh, short, oh.
Friend! Ooh.
Can we spend night with you? We promise to keep you warm.
You have firewood.
You could say that, yes.
Good. This,
I'm slowly dying.
okay, it's worse the more I think about that one response. Yes.
Can I touch your sword? It seems very sharp.
Why would you touch the sword?
'Cause my name, Kitsunoi, means sharp. In my language.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We don't all speak the same thing, you racist. You racist fuck.
They have the most racist accents and cultural appropriation all in one 3-hour thing. You just lost all your Asian followers.
Okay. So Shin will just like half turn back to the party, and he's just like,
Get a hold of yourself, man. He sort of smacked shit. He seemed to be falling for it. Sort of,
Gavin just responds, "Let go of yourself, man."
Yeah, get a hold of yourself, man. He's trying. This isn't a real woman. And I cast protection from good and evil, 3rd level on all 3 of us.
Nice.
Ryuk gets immediately repulsed by everyone in the party.
Yeah.
Shin has no idea what's going on right now.
Can we sleep next to you by warm fire?
Shin doesn't know if like Gavin was trying to initiate combat or if he was like basically saying, you know, you need protection.
Protection from good and the evil of babies.
Yes, I was making sure you had protection.
Listen, you don't know where these foxes have been, okay?
Oh, we are foxes only at day. At night we become lady foxes. I mean foxy ladies. This is my friend, Kitsunolo.
She waves.
And this is her friend, Hiroshima.
No, I'm kidding. Kidding.
Rewind. Undo.
This is her friend, Kitsu. Roll,
Kids are not a fox.
Kids, you're not a scary fox lady woman. Oh,
So Shin just like gives a slight bow and says, "My name is Shin Assa.
oh,
This is. Please stop that.
oh,
This
nice sword.
is Gavin Fjordhammer,
And I am Sato Yashuan. You are a lady.
no,
Don't worry, Will. I'm gonna do it for you.
I got this.
I'm gonna bring it in as many times as possible.
I'm bringing it back, baby.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's what he says.
So they start like lying down by the fire very kind of seductively as Barry White starts to play.
It's his favorite song.
Let's get it on.
Do we have any sake left?
No, I think the one that calls herself Rebecca took it with her.
What's that? Oh, Rebecca.
These strange Western names, I can't get my voice around. Oh, yes, sir. Rebecca, sir.
There was so much phlegm in that. Oh, Rebecca.
Rebecca. Oh, Western.
I'm crying.
I've got heartburn from laughing so much. Oh god.
This game had like a really good serious scene, and now we have to have to cut loose. We gotta cut loose.
I'm so sorry.
Oh. So they're lying down. Oh no.
I was like, how can we deal with this? And like,
I think there's